Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, know nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault, episode 584, probate and private citizen conversation. This is just one of those episodes that we gotta do. We a lot of things have come up in the past 7 business days, and so we got to talk about it. Whether it's through consultations or trustees bringing up these things in the conversation. So we're gonna talk about it. We got trustees going through doing SPC and all this other stuff, and it's time to focus. So this is to talk about the workshop that we have coming up. Really honored. We have a very stacked lineup with the vault. We have Larissa. She's an enrolled agent, can defend you for past situations, and she can defend and deal with the trust or the foundation tax liability. So let's talk about it. We got Tiffany, private banking specialist. People say, "Oh man, I want to deal with the life insurance. I want to deal with this insurance stuff. I want to make sure that my family is able to start their own family bank." Well, this is just a protege of one of the mentors and a trustee, very familiar with the system and getting things done. Lady J, you gotta be licensed. You gotta go get the licenses for these positions now. So, setting up your own private family bank. A lot of people got 401ks. What they call these things, 401ks, and all these different type of little, you know, government sponsored programs, ladies and gentlemen. That means that you're getting subsidized. Supposedly, you're going to pay taxes later on as the policy grows. Well, what happens at the end of the policy? Do you think taxes are going to be higher or lower at that time? People say, "Oh man, you don't get penalized for taking the money out, but you get penalized if you take the money out early." Yeah, that's true. But when you take the money out, you still got to pay taxes. So let's repeat that again. You get penalized if you take the money out early. That's true. But if you don't, that doesn't eliminate the fact that you still got to pay taxes once you take the money out. That's something that we were sitting here looking at a clip. We could easily pull up a clip where this guy's got hundreds of thousands of views on his video. And he's talking like he knows it until someone in the video tells him you pay taxes once you take the money out. He says, "Well, yeah, right, but are they going to be less or more?" And that's when he got caught. He got caught slipping because he thought about it and he said, "You're right, that is a possibility." Right, it's a major possibility. So we're going to talk about it. And we got Keenan. We got Keenan Beasley. Appreciate him for coming through. Founder of Venture Noir, venture capitalist, somebody that has experience in the tech space, someone that has experience in building businesses from scratch, and as well working with Fortune 500s, as well working with major family foundations as well. So really thankful, really excited, really appreciative of him actually coming through. Thank everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. That is actually tuning in live, listening to replay. So thank you all. We're here back in it, at it again. Episode 584, probate and private citizen conversation. So let's have this conversation. Once again, if you guys want to get tickets, feel free to reach out to the bit.ly. We got family ticket discount prices. At the same time, we've had to make it a point to be able to cover the cost because we've added some additional tickets to the room. And then we ended up getting a few families that actually wanted to come. So multiple families now that have more than 2 or 3 generations are sitting in the room with Family Foundation. So really thankful for that. This is definitely one you don't want to miss. This is one you want to make it a point to get to if you're already in the Atlanta area. It'll be something that'll be beneficial for you. If not, we got families traveling from all over the country. New York, New Jersey, Chicago, Cali, Texas, Florida, Georgia, look forward to the families that are going to be in the room, individuals in the room. So, and feel free to reach out. No same day tickets, but definitely feel free to reach out as soon as possible. It's Trustee Training. Focus is going to be on private family banking, generational wealth. People want to be in the business, and they also want to be in the foundation, trust, and then they also want to deal with wealth management and succession planning. So, appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replays as well. Everybody that's attending the workshop. Let's talk about it. Probate. Ladies and gentlemen, we get people coming to us all the time about this probate thing because the lawyers are the ones that benefit from probate, ladies and gentlemen. How does your family benefit from giving 10 to 15% away to somebody just to take some assets and give them to you or give them to your children? That's what's going on. If it's a position of, oh, we don't know, that's fair. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, this is a position at this particular workshop to avoid probate. It's that simple. And then there is no changing of names. It stays in the same entity and is passed along. But how is that going to happen if it's the correct if it's the incorrect entity? Oh man, I'm going to go through probate. Well, if you go through probate, whether you have a will or you have a living trust or you have a testamentary trust, we can talk about it, or you have various different type of entities, probate benefits the lawyer. Because if we don't need a lawyer, then what really changed hands? It didn't. It's in the family estate hands. That's what it comes down to. But how is it going to be in the correct family estate if we're going through probate? We wouldn't go through probate if it was in the correct estate hands, the correct entity's hands. But instead, people come on the line all the time and they say, oh, well, I'm in this living trust, or I created my trust. Well, if you created your trust, ladies and gentlemen, it's a living trust. If you created your own trust, if it's not a living trust, it's going to be it's going to be most likely a public trust. So then we get people that come on and say, oh, what about the generational skipping tax trust? Ladies and gentlemen, we get these questions every single day. So it's going to skip one generation. How many generations can it skip? Uh-oh, here we go. They come on the line and they ask us about a dynasty trust. A dynasty trust, Christian in the vault? Does that go through probate? Oh no, this is a trust and it's going to stay in our family and we could hold the property for 1,000 years or something like that, or 100 years. What position are your beneficiaries in? Are your beneficiaries in a position of beneficiary, or they in the position of trusteeship? That's why we have multiple families coming to the workshop, because they understand how they want to understand how to avoid probate. That alone is going to take wealth away. Is there a probate tax, ladies and gentlemen, in your state? Okay, here we go. Let's talk about it. Even if you go through probate properly, what happens when you start meeting those thresholds where they say, oh yeah, you don't have to pay taxes in this. We're not financial advice. We're not legal advice. We're giving you information to check with your quote unquote attorney so you can make them answer the hard questions, which they're going to answer them and they're going to let you know. And we're going to share with you, well, if there is another position to be in that's of an advantage, let's explore it. Because then maybe they're not giving us all the information, because if they didn't give us all the information, it wouldn't benefit them in every situation. So for example, if we go through probate, but we're under this so-called $12 million estate tax, what happens when you're over $12 million? You're not even considered generational wealth if you're over if you're not under 12 if you're not over $12 million. So once you supposedly pass over this estate tax line, they got you for probate again. Because it still went through probate. It went through probate. And now it's going to get hit with the estate tax. Because we passed a certain amount. These are the conversations that we have at the Vault with Trustees. They understand very logically the benefit of minimizing their liability. That's why we have an enrolled agent in the room with us. So you can make sure that what you're doing is legal and lawful, as people try to say. Doesn't need to be a long episode. We're going to keep it moving. You guys can feel free to reach out, Christian at trustchristian.com for an episode. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com for an episode. So let's talk about it. Private citizen conversation. This one was a big one this past week. We had quite a few people ask us about, are you a private citizen, Trust Christian? First of all, are you a citizen? A citizen is a subject. A subject to who? Your family estate? Your last name? Or the state? A ward of the state? People say, oh man, well, if I'm private, can I be a citizen? A citizen of what? Your family estate? Or a ward of the state? Well, Trust Christian vote, I'm not trying to be a 13th Amendment citizen. Isn't that for persons? Isn't a person a citizen of the state? A ward of the state? A state created entity based off of a social? That's the conversation we having. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. Definitely always appreciate that. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about these topics that we get coming through for consultations day in and day out. And we're here to share that information with families, individuals. Why? Because they come on a line and they're looking for the facts. The facts are, if you are a citizen, you are a subject. We're not getting into this Morocco, this Moorish science garbage. Oh, I'm a Moor. Well, what citizen are you? Are you stateless? Or are you focused on your family's last name? The family estate. Falling under family estate is the name that you operate with in commerce, a part of the family estate. And it goes into the public to do commerce. Let's talk about it. Because they say, well, Church Christian of all, can I be a private citizen? How you going to be a private citizen? What are you a citizen of? Are you signing in the right capacity? Or are you signing as a citizen? As a ward of the state that doesn't understand their private capacity as a man or a woman? When the Constitution was written, it was written by men and women. That'd be up for debate. You know, everybody's going to be judgmental about whether it's a woman involved or something like that because it is the so-called, beginning of the country and all this other stuff. We're not looking to go there, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to stick to the plausible deniability of the fact that men and women started the country. Men and women wrote the original trust contract, which was the Constitution. And the original Constitution, it didn't honor what they got now. What do they have now, ladies and gentlemen? Artificial entities. They got these de facto entities. These citizens. Right? So why would you want to be a private citizen? There's no benefit to put the private in front of the citizen if the citizen is tied to the state. Not the family estate, the ward of the state. Through the social. Oh, Trust Christian vote, I'm a citizen of the state now because I'm a private citizen? Do you even operate by the Constitution? And what are you? Are you a 13th Amendment citizen? Somebody said to us the other day, said, I don't want to be a 13th Amendment citizen. Well, it's the 13th Amendment or whatever one it is. Are those people, is that law, quote unquote, for entities? It's for a person. A person is an entity. Are you a private person? We could replace citizen with private person. Are you a private person? Can the family estate have a private person? Yes, it can. That means it's an entity, though. The family estate has an entity that it operates with. Each family member, the man or the woman, has the opportunity to operate and to go into the public and acquire assets. They got guys out here selling paperwork, talking about, I'm going to make you a private citizen. I'm going to sell you your privacy. How they going to sell you your privacy? I'm going to sell you your redemption papers. I'm going to go through the redemption process. This sounds real religious now. What they say is a separation between what? Church and state. So once again, why are you mixing your religion with the business? Because it comes from information, lack of it. Oh, trust Christian involved. We're going to do private citizen status. We're going to do private person status. You might as well say private entity status. But what's a private entity? That's an artificial person. It's a non-living being. So does it really have to be stated as a private citizen? Not at all. What do you mean private citizen? Are you a private man or are you a private woman? Of course, we can go through and find you all in trustee training. We all can find you all, various different writings that people were in their private capacity as a man or a woman, not in the capacity of a citizen. If a citizen is a ward of the state, what difference does it make if it's private? It may have started out private, but that's why they have the law passed for the 13th Amendment. You can go into the public. Who can go into the public? You naked or the entity that your family has created for you all to operate in commerce properly? Or the entity that your family has created, the family estate has created to go into the public and operate privately. So, okay, here we go. Trustee comes on the line today, says, all right, trust Christian involved. I got me a trust. I created a trust. We already know you're talking public. I got to trust Christian involved. I got to trust. You hear how I keep saying it? I got to trust Christian involved. I got to trust. Okay, so you got to trust. Who created the trust? I created the trust Christian involved. Okay, so you're the creator. Did you create it as a private man or woman? Yeah. Okay, so who's the trustee? Oh, my SPC name, my social security name. You hear how that is? The private citizen. You thought that was a private citizen, right? How? It was given out through the government. You didn't create that. Your family didn't create that. It's too easy, ladies and gentlemen, to have people where they got these more science guys come on the line. Oh, you got to watch out for your brother because he might sell you back into slavery. Yeah, that means you thinking that you're supposed to go into the public without an estate first. But then, who created the estate? So then they come on the line and they say, oh, Trust Christian involved. I'm the executor. I'm the executrix. Okay, so if you're the executor, ladies and gentlemen, does that mean you're the creator? Is that synonymous with creator? Or are you the trustee of the estate? Hold on. Who's the beneficiary? I am Trust Christian involved because I'm trying to benefit from this government stuff. I'm trying to benefit from the government name. They using my name privately and hypothecating on it. Don't think we don't have these conversations. That's why we can talk about it. With ease. Hold on. They create so hold on. The government created a so-called artificial entity because the government's artificial entity. It's an institution. It created an institutional entity, a K trust or otherwise. Oh, they created this another artificial entity. But who's the trustee? Hold on. Trust Christian involved. I'm the beneficiary because they owe me. That sounds like welfare. They owe me, Trust Christian involved. They owe me because I'm the beneficiary. Hold on. Are you the grantor? Are you the trustee? Or are you the beneficiary of the K trust? That's supposedly supposed to be the secured party creditor trust at one point, the private citizen trust at one point, whatever it is. Go look it up and see what happens when you say you're the beneficiary. Hard position that we see trustees battle with, that it could be a little disheartening at times to them because they get a little disheartened by the fact that, wow, I'm not going to get something for nothing now. I'm not going to be like the government and give free labor and tax my back. I'm not going to be able to do things privately because I'm not operating privately. Why? Because you're the beneficiary. Beneficiaries aren't private, they're public. They're traditionally public. That's why they are the ones that they're called beneficial owners. So that means they're supposed to file the taxes. Why do you think you file personal taxes and not Sesta K trust taxes? This is what they come to us with, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, I'm gonna be a private citizen over. Really, it ain't a private trust. Promise you. Because why? They created the trust. Or why? They don't know how to make sure that it's private. Because they'll come on the line and say, well, if just because I got a bank account, just because I got a EIN number for it, none of those things make it particularly private or public. Who created it? Who's the beneficiary? With Trust Christian involved, what am I supposed to do? I don't want to work. Don't think we don't hear it. I don't want to work, Trust Christian in the vault. Don't think they don't say it. What do you mean you don't want to work? If you don't work, the electricity isn't even getting pumped to people's houses for free. We're sorry to say this, ladies and gentlemen. You got to breathe in air and release air. That's the work of your lungs. The Most High has given us a duty. Each and every one of us has a gift that we've been given. Don't let public school tell you you got to be something that you don't want to be. You could be what you want to be if you work for it. Simple as that. Ain't nobody say it was easy. And if it's hard, so what? We gonna be here for however long we gonna be here. So might as well do something. Oh man, I don't want the government making money off of my back. So then if you are in the public position of private citizenship, which is a public position, if you're in the 13th Amendment operating position, that's how it works. Probate's going to benefit the lawyers. We can easily get them out of the way. They're going to be mad at Trust Christian Involved. Oh man, what you mean Trust Christian Involved? Why wouldn't they put it? First of all, we can go to the daggone tax forms for it. They don't even have a living trust on the tax forms. We're sitting on the line with a trustee. He says, I'm going to go simple and grantor. Why? Because he's thinking public. This isn't an indictment to that one particular person or anyone for that matter. This is an education. The more people that we have wealth, the better the society will be. But instead, we got people want to sit here and say, oh, let's keep it in poverty. So let's talk about this poverty thought process. Private citizenship status. Well, if you're a citizen, it's a ward of the state. A private man, a private woman, they don't have a social. Oh, Trust Christian Involved. I don't know if I want to hit the gyms and the jewels because I'm working a job. And how am I going to get off the job? I was trained to get a job. Trust Christian Involved went through public school too. But that's why you got to invest in your private education. That's why you got to go to the workshops so you can invest in your private education and not be a private citizen and getting duped by these guys out here spending $3, $4, $5, $10,000 on some private paperwork. Talking about, oh, I got a private trust, but you the one that created it. Who's the beneficiary? You're the beneficiary. Well, if you're the beneficiary, who's the trustee? Well, Trust Christian Involved, I'm all those things. And now we know why it's not a trust. It's called an artificial entity. It's a person. Persons are entities. They call it a legal person, right? Right. You're operating through a legal citizen. Oh, sounds like a 13th Amendment one, right? Right. They gave you a privilege to operate in the public because private people came before public people. That's that simple. Private people came before public people. But they had to create an artificial entity to operate in the public because there was no tax system before they created the citizens. Right? Each state had its own jurisdiction. That's like asking you, why do each state have its own state tax? Because the states came before the federal. And the federal put another tax on people. Why? Because they were operating across state lines through artificial entities. This is an easy one. Erie versus Tompkins and Railroad. Erie versus Tompkins and Railroad. We're going to go make sure we're saying it right. It's been a while. The trustees go through the trustee training program. They know about Erie and Tompkins. And they say, oh, that alone should let you, Erie Railroad versus Tompkins. This lets you know about the jurisdictions of an entity. The separation between citizens and man and woman. This is a study between man and woman and an entity. What's the jurisdiction of the entity? Private citizens, how are you in the position of a citizen and looking to be private? That's an oxymoron. But the redemption manual gurus have sold people these packages. And then they come to the vault and they say, oh man, Trust Christian Vault, I don't know if I got the money. Oh, you do. Because you gave it to these other guys, ladies, whoever, selling you the redemption package. You don't need to redeem yourself physically, ladies and gentlemen. You got to redeem yourself in your mind. You got to renew your mind. You renew your mind by knowing that you are the most powerful being in the universe. In your universe. And by that being the case, that means that you're not a citizen. Oh, Trust Christian Vault, you going to tell the human population that they not citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, a citizen is a ward of the state. It's a 13th Amendment what? Citizen. That's when that word was introduced. Because other than that, we were private man and woman on the land. So we had to deal with local taxation. But there was no so-called higher taxation. There was, what you got, the sales tax now? Fair. Private citizens. I don't want to have my name in the public Trust Christian in the Vault. I don't want to be taxable anymore, Trust Christian in the Vault. I'm trying to make some money. I'm trying to get ahead. Exactly. So that means you go into a position of Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Asset Protection and Estate Planning Workshop, August 24th in Atlanta. Tickets have gone to 305. We're making it a point to bring in venture capitalists. So when we have trustees in the room that are saying, oh, we got tech businesses, they can network with people such as a Keenan and actually get funding through a private venture capitalist. Somebody that sits out in the public, does business all day, every day, and they telling you they own the business, but really they a private person. They're a private individual, quote unquote. And even those two words we just used, individual and person, are still public terms. They are a private man that understands, trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. That's why they're in the room. Private citizen. What's the benefit of being a private citizen? Are you the beneficiary or the trustee? Do you own the entity that you're operating through? Does your family own it or do you own it? Did your family create it or did you create it? This is easy. Oh, Trust Christian Vault, you've been doing it for a long time. I'm just coming into this information. Okay. And there's a lot of people in this sector that will try to take your money, take your hard-earned shekels, your chips, and squeeze and take them over to their side of the table. Because if you're operating from a position of receivership or operating from a position of beneficiaryship, how did you trust Christian, own and control everything? It's trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for people to invest in their private education. We're making it a point to have a stacked lineup for you all. We sold quite a few tickets actually the other day, so we're down to 3. They're going to sell out. The room's going to be sold out. If we got to find a bigger location, we'll raise the ticket price again. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Make it a point to invest in your private education. Even if it's a consultation and you can't show up to the workshop, you can reach out Christian@trustchristian.com. So you can actually say, people coming along, oh, I got a trust. First of all, if you have a trust, you're not private. We're going to make this very clear one more time. This is a hard reality for people. It is what it is, though. It's a hard reality. This is what they say. You ready? If you say this, you're not private. I have a trust, Christian. I have a trust. You what? I have a trust. Well, hold on. Here we are. They don't say that. They say it another way. My trust, Christian. Who created the trust? I did, trust Christian in the vault. Okay. So who's the trustee? I am. Who's the beneficiary? Here we go. Yeah, this is a slick one. We had one couple come on one time. This is what the couple said. I'm the trustee of his trust. He's the trustee of my trust. I'm the beneficiary of his trust, and she's the beneficiary of my trust. Do you hear the my's? Do you hear the me's? And if you're married, you technically are one person. What's wrong with that? You can joint file on public taxes. What makes you think it's any different privately? You're one person, quote unquote. So we eliminate that person because you might as well say that's a citizen. You might as well say that's a entity. We're one entity. You hear how that sounds? When you're married, it's one entity. Right. But people think they got around the system. The system is set up for the educated of us, ladies and gentlemen. It's the ones that wanted to invest in our private education. It could be a disheartening moment when people hear this information and say, oh man, I thought I paid $3, $4, $5, $10,000 for this stuff. I was learning how to get me a trust. I got a trust. This guy sold me a trust. And next thing you know, I'm the beneficiary. Then how's that private? It's trust Christian. Own nothing, control everything. The beneficial owner is the beneficial owner. The beneficial owner. Yeah, then y'all heard about what y'all hear about that there's not necessarily a law yet, but the government was trying to scare people. It is what it is. They were trying to scare people like, oh, if you're a beneficiary of a corporation, or if you're the owner of a corporation, y'all got to release that information. Y'all really believe that? Yeah, go to Delaware. Why do you think people set up corporations in Delaware? Why do you think people set up corporations in Nevada? They didn't change. Hold on. Was that a federal law or a state law? Once again, was that a federal law or a state law that they were trying to pass? Because y'all go look over at the Delaware situation and why companies are set up in Delaware. Let's go look up why these are public now. Let's go look at why these companies are set up in quote unquote Las Vegas. Things change, no doubt about it. Things do change. Oh man, I'm gonna go get in a Massachusetts trust Christian in the vault. Okay, that's where we could say the country was traditionally started off Massachusetts trust. But once again, who's the beneficiary? Is that a state that releases the beneficiary information? When you got Mitt Romney, you got Donald Trump. God dang, man, we're living in the greatest time for you to be a trustee. Donald Trump been president. They tried to get this man for everything. And this man's still making money privately. Still making money privately. Most presidents can't afford to be a president because they lose money. Donald don't make no money. Donald claims $1. Y'all know that. Y'all know Donald Trump say he don't make no money. Y'all know how Donald Trump say, oh, I don't have to release the tax records. Hold on. How does the president not have to release tax records? He's still running for president a few more times. This is the best time to be making sure you're private in your family estate. This man will make sure that your family estate will never get penetrated if you don't do the two things you can't do in trusteeship anyways. That'll get the corporate veil pierced. If people want to take that man personally for all that personal stuff, that's fine. But when it comes to business, oh man, few things you could do. One of them is study the art of the deal. And then he told you, hold on, Why is it that he's one of the few that didn't have to release the tax records personally? Well, we're going to share with you how. Because he doesn't have one. Oh, I'm the owner of a business. I'm the owner of $1 billion business. It is what it is. But it also lets people know that there's a mindset to this. That this is very doable. This is doable for you, ladies and gentlemen. You could be a business owner, and quote unquote, and you still can have the opportunity to be private. Ladies and gentlemen, you ain't no way you running for president of the United States and you ain't got to show your tax records. That's just the facts. They ain't got nothing to do with color. It ain't got nothing to do with gender. It has everything to do with your business affairs are in a correct position. That's just the truth. That's just the bottom line. It just is what it is. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. We appreciate everybody that comes to the workshop that have invested in their private education. It's just like it's just so exciting right now to go through this time. We people were thinking, oh man, if a certain party got in power, things are gonna go to kaput. But what happens when one of the best trustees of our lifetime is back in power? He's gonna make sure that your family estate is not going through what? Probate. What you think he's gonna do when they say, oh yeah, let's raise the estate tax, trust Christian in the vault. Let's lower the estate tax. So when you make less money, they can still tax you. Or when you make more money, they can tax you out of your wealth that you already been taxed once you made it in your personal name. And then you put it into an estate, and then they got a tax for that too because you didn't relinquish ownership. And even if you did relinquish ownership, did you relinquish control of it? Because you're the grantor, right? So if you're still in control of it, it doesn't sound irrevocable. It sounds revocable. Oh, Trust Christian Vault, I got me a revocable trust. Here we go. Let's go with it again. Let's go back to these me, my, and my words. I words. I got to trust Christian Vault. I got to trust that I created, but it's irrevocable. Hold on. So what if it's irrevocable and you created it? Who's the beneficiary? Hold on. You the beneficiary, but it was irrevocable. I think you just lost a bunch of money and you actually got lied to. Then let's go over to, okay, so if it's irrevocable, it's nothing wrong with these lawyers, ladies and gentlemen, too. They just doing their job because that's what they've been programmed to do. Let's talk about it. Okay. At the same time, if it's irrevocable, how you going to be the trustee? Let's talk to the lawyers and find out how is that possible. Is it living still? Is it a constructive trust? Is it a Sesta K trust? Hold on, your family set up an irrevocable trust for you, right? You the trustee? Yeah, okay. Who's the beneficiary? You are. Oh, okay. Does that sound like you private or you public? Because you're the beneficial owner. That's the term they use in the public. That's not Trust Christian Vault. That's the term they use in the public. Beneficial owner. Okay. Okay. So you're the beneficial owner. Okay. Thought you were private. Is that for public record or private record? At the bank, when they ask you who's the beneficiary, what you gonna tell them? Since it's irrevocable. It's irrevocable, right? Hold on. It's irrevocable, but you're the beneficiary, the beneficial owner. Who created the trust? It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Definitely feel free to reach out. Feel free to type into the chat where you're listening live, listen to replay from. Look, ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to worry about how the tax is going to get done for the trust. We got a tax expert in the room. We got a tax strategist in the room. That's called Larissa. Ladies and gentlemen, she's taking a test that says that she could stand on behalf of the trust or you in court. Even if you used her for a consultation, it would be worth it. It's being hosted by Abundant Returns. That's who runs Abundant Returns. Larissa. We appreciate her. Been working with her for years. has provided high quality trustee services for people that are in trusteeship. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening, replay. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, it's Christian at trustchristian.com. If you want to reach out early and not able to make it to the workshop, otherwise, feel free to click on the scan to pay, or as well type in for the actual bit.ly. There's limited seating, ladies and gentlemen. We look forward to seeing everyone there that can make it. We'll do another one this year. We actually are making plans for another one. But this isn't one you want to miss, because Keenan is not someone get your hands on easily. We got to make it a point to get these type of people in the room, so when you're in the private sector, you can actually get funding for your projects. So you can understand that people that are operating in the private, people operating in the public, they actually, some of them are private. Some of them are in the position of trusteeship. They're just not telling you that. Why? That's private information. So they'll just let you know, oh, I'm a venture capitalist. Oh, I'm private equity. Oh, I'm an angel investor. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Always appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Feel free to reach out, Christian at trustchristian.com. Feel free to type into the chat where you listen in live, listen, replay from. Feel free to hit the like and the subscribe. It's always appreciated when everybody hits that like and the subscribe button. Everybody, we appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you at the workshop. Peace and joy.